10th year seniors. This is Bracketcast.
Bracketcast.
A very nervous time, a very exciting time. Like I said, some other nervous energy floating around because we're down to 4. The final 4 of the NCAA tournament. This is where it gets really mad. This is where the cream rises to the top. And by that, I just mean Kentucky and the 3 other people that are here to make up the numbers.
Yeah.
So you're going to give them participation certificates?
let them get participation certificates. Go back to where you come from, go have a real legit spring break, and you guys go about your way. But anyway, like I said, we're down to 4 teams left in the NCAA tournament. We have Kentucky, Wisconsin, Duke, and we got Michigan State.
Yeah, you were actually at the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 in Syracuse, right?
Awesome time.
And you watch Buddy play Tum Tum.
Of course, I went there to cover. It was a historic experience. Everybody was buzzing about it. We saw, well, at least us 3, we saw this matchup coming the day the brackets were released, and it just so happened that it worked out that way. We had Buddy and the Sooners go against Tum Tum and the Spartans in the Sweet 16. Of course, by now we know Tum Tum came out on top. Buddy had a great performance that game. But as usual, like we talked about for much of Oklahoma's season, their offense became kind of stagnant. They relied heavily on him, and Michigan State was spreading the ball around. When it wasn't Denzel Valentine, it was Travis Trice, it was Brandon Dawson. But Oklahoma was pretty much one and done with the Buddy offense, and that proved to be the difference in that game.
Do you think that Buddy raised his draft stock with this tournament performance?
I think it's about where it was for much of the season because his season was so consistent.
Yeah.
Well, but I think we probably saw his only 2 bad games during the battle for Atlantis because the rest of his season was pretty much consistent across the board, and everybody, he was on everybody's radar as one of the top shooting guards in the nation.
I know. I was just talking to somebody today because I remember you posted the article about whether he should stay or he should go, and I was just telling somebody that he should definitely go. I don't see how he could raise his draft stock anymore. I think he maximized his potential. You know what I mean? Turn himself into a first-round pick.
Right. And and to that point, they just established in the NCAA this year, they have the Jerry West Award. This will be the first year they're giving it out to the top shooting guard in the nation, and he's among the top 5 finalists. So that right there should tell you how high his stock is right now in the tournament. They're doing
position awards now, like in college football.
Yeah, I don't know if they have it for all of them, but I just read it yesterday that they have the West Award for the top 2 guard.
The good thing they're gonna have this year too is the underclassmen thing, where he could get invited to the combine, try out, and then if his stock isn't there, he could go back to school. So
I think
it just makes sense for him to go to that combine.
I think that's great. I think somebody said it in our chat, but I think once his physical measurables come in, they're gonna probably tell him to go.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys that, and we're totally getting off track here, but I think he's one of those guys that when they see him in workouts, when they see him at the combine, and you get a sense of his competitive nature, because that's one of the things watching him live that stands out. He's a competitor.
Yeah, I remember Battle Atlantis. He was just flying all over the place. He was diving for loose balls. He was free ranging in the defense. He was getting after it.
Like that play he made to get Oklahoma to the Sweet 16. That block he made after the turnover. That's the kind of thing that scouts will point at and say, this is something that this guy could do. But, I mean, that ties into the entire atmosphere of that game, taking it back to the Sweet 16 for a moment. It was great. You could tell, both of the coaches had an idea of how important it was to both of these guys because, Buddy typically is announced last in Oklahoma's starting lineup. But Tom Izzo also made sure that Tum Tum was announced last so they could have that moment at half court. And, that was pretty special because I remember Buddy made it a point to go over to the Michigan State lineup and just acknowledge Tum Tum and to give him some words of encouragement before the game tipped off because both of these guys talked about it the whole time. This is a basketball game, but the relationship between them made it kind of bigger than that.
Well, they go to the same high school, so it helps in that way where they know each other, and it sucks that one has to lose.
Yeah,
but at the same time, that Buddy is going for
Tum Tum. What did you take from Tum Tum? Because watching it on TV, he doesn't really, I guess, he doesn't score a lot, so the spotlight isn't on him that much. So what did you take from seeing him in person?
Well, I've heard it, and I've been reading it all year. Even in the preseason, like Draymond Green, Mateen Cleaves, all the older Spartan players, they would point out to Tom Izzo that this kid should be one of the captains, and everybody was so high on him. But if you look at the box score at the end of the game, you can't really tell.
You can't.
You'd see 3 points, 4 assists, a few rebounds, or something like that, and you wouldn't be able to understand, like I said, from looking at the box score, how big of an impact he has on this team. But when you see him play and you see how the rest of the team reacts to everything he does, even when he's on the bench, you know, take it back to warm-ups. Even the Michigan State fans, like, Travis Trice is a star of this team. Brendan Dawson's a star of this team.
But most of the fans, Valentine.
Yeah.
They hit all the shots.
Most of the fans before the game, they're shouting out Tum Tum
That's because he has an awesome name.
During the warm-ups. Like, it's just something about his charisma, something about his character. He's one of those guys. He's definitely going to be a coach. I'm calling it now. When his career is done, he is going to be a coach.
I can kind of tell it. Like I say, I read about it, but I haven't been able to see it because I haven't seen him play live. And then I guess his box scores are somewhat underwhelming, but I could tell, like, looking at the pictures you sent us from the celebration, like, everything seemed to center around him.
Everything centered around him. It was amazing to me. I'm like, Travis Trice and Denzel Valentine hit just about every big shot coming down the stretch, and Tum Tum's at the middle of the stage, and everyone's centered around him. I mean, Tom is a Hall of Fame coach. The first thing he did when the game was over, got the cell phone from his wife and passed it to Tum Tum. I was like, is this guy the senior leader on this team? But that's just how much respect they have for him. Like,
so you know, Tom Izzo, when he was recruiting him, told his mom, the second we will get to a Final Four,
I'm gonna let him call you.
You're gonna be the first one on the phone.
He did say he was gonna get that team to the, what do you say, to the finals?
We can talk about that in a little bit when we can talk about Nal got ambushed.
So what happened? After it was about the second or third play of the game, and this was one of the plays when I really saw it. I was like, this is what he brings to the table. I think he got a rebound. He pushed it up the court because he's quicker than everybody else on the court.
He's so fast.
So he got an outlet. He didn't get the rebound. He got an outlet pass, pushed it up the court really quickly, got Louisville on their heels, and kicked it back to Travis Trice for Michigan State's first score. And that was just a small example. You can see what he does when he has the ball in his hands. Like he said, he'll play any role they want him to. And right now, he's a facilitator. And he did that several times. He had a few nice drive and dish plays where he found open shots for people. And that the energy he brought, I think, was very key in just keeping up with Terry Rozier.
How did it feel to see Louisville get beat?
You know, I don't want to bask in Louisville losing right now because we have our own business to attend to, and we all know what karma is like. But both teams played hard.
Both teams played hard.
But I mean, you got to see them lose, right?
Both teams played hard, my man.
You got to see Tum Tum advance to the Final Four.
Both teams played hard.
I think it's extra special that a Bahamian beat him too. That Tum Tum get to finish off.
But both teams played hard, Tage. Like I said, that karma. There's something about her.
I tell you one thing about Tum Tum. I mean, you can see flashes of it already. It's gonna be fun in the next couple years when he takes a bigger role on that team. Like I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like
it's amazing seeing the confidence he got, and I guess he says he gets that confidence from them because he knows that he can do that. But there are times when guys may not be in the right spot, and especially defensively, because they respect his effort on the defensive end more than anything. As he won the team award for being the best defender, so that should tell you a lot right there. Like he would go up to the juniors and seniors and
he is Bahamian.
Bark out orders and tell them the spots where they should be in.
Typical short Bahamian point guard.
Mean? Yeah, we know how they all go.
But how was it when Tum Tum went? Because you were there, so you got to see Tum Tum cut that net. I mean, what was the feeling like?
Well, I'll tell you, it was. I saw time was winding down, and it became clear that Michigan State was going to win that game after Brendan Dawson had the tip in it. So my next thought was, how am I going to get on the court with all these photographers?
I told Nal to John it.
How am I going to go in there, get this footage, get these pics? Because nobody else is going to. I was already thinking, these photographers here, they're not going to focus on him. They're going to focus on, their guys who they came there to cover. He was the guy I came there to cover. So how am I going to get this pick? So the first time I tried to get on the court, event staff was like, you don't have the photographer pass. You can't get out here. So I turned my back for a second. Make sure he was looking the other way. just dashed right by, and I got lost in the crowd. So once I got lost in the crowd,
well played.
I found where Tum Tum was, and I started snapping pics. I was still pretty far away because, like I said, the event security, they were kind of strict with things. But little by little, as more photographers started to complain and more journalists started to just ambush the floor, they just let all hell break loose. And that's
because they weren't going to get to the locker room to do interviews.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These guys were going to be out there cutting the net and celebrating for the next hour or so because, that's what happens when you make it to the Final Four. Yeah. So I didn't really have to worry about going to see Louisville. So I just was on the court and snapping my pics, getting my interviews.
Boxing out with the shoulders.
Got to box out with your shoulders in this photography game. You got to find a nice, good spot because when they were cutting down the net, I camped out in the area where I took those shots from for at least 10 minutes. Like I had to find a good spot beyond the 3-point line and just kind of wrestle my way in there and stand kind of big,
I love how we IG'd that picture and we got 40 likes and then Tum Tum just,
took it
and got 3,000 likes.
Yeah, give us a shout, Tum Tum.
Yeah, just one little shout.
Yo, I think I learned a lot when I go to Baltimore. I'm gonna put what you learn in action too, and I got these big shoulders too, so I'm doing some boxing out.
No, but he's good. He's cool though because he was on stage and the minute he saw me, he recognized who I was, and then he posed for a picture. That was a pretty dope pic. I saw a lot of people using that one, and when he came down, he was all about doing the interview because, like I said, we've been talking from he was at Sunrise. I've been doing stories on him.
Yeah, wasn't he supposed to do an interview last summer with you?
Yeah, it was supposed to be this summer. That ended up not working out too well. We wanted to.
But hey, it worked out even better.
Hey,
yeah, this is much better.
Everything worked out better.
There'll be more times to come. But it was an awesome experience getting to watch both of those guys play live. Of course, we already saw Buddy play live early this season at Battle for Atlantis. Playing with the stakes this high, where everybody on both teams was pretty much laying it all out on the line, it was an awesome experience. And even Buddy was even gracious in the loss because he talked about how happy he was he said all the things that you would expect and he was really sincere about it. He talked about how happy he was for Tum Tum, but at the same time, of course you want to be the guy that moves on.
It goes to show you that they're playing the game, but at the same time the friendship trumps the game. Like during the game you could have all the hard feelings and play however you need to play, but after the game the better team wins. And Buddy said that. He said the better team won today.
I really wanted to ask him about the one play when Tum Tum was on him, though. Because we all know, when you play...
when he scored on him?
We all know when you play pickup ball with a guy so much times that you know his moves. He knows that you know his moves, but there are ones that he can't stop. And I think that was one of the ones that Buddy, when he saw Tum Tum on him, he was just like, I know what I'm going to. I'm going to take it. And it worked.
I think it's funny, too, because when, at any level, when you play against your friend, you just go extra hard against your friend.
Because that familiarity, you know what he's gonna bring to the table, and you know what's gonna work.
Yeah. So anyway, Kentucky, they're gonna play the Buzzcuts.
Who's that?
The Wisconsin Buzzcuts of Atlantis.
No, the Gamblers, the chronic Gamblers.
So we're gonna talk about the actual Final Four now. Is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, before we talk about UK, we might as well talk about Duke.
Yeah, since we were talking about Tum Tum and moving on, let's talk about who they're going to move on to play.
I think Tum Tum shuts down Tyus Jones.
Is it me or did Duke have the easiest path to the Final Four?
Well, we were saying from the jump, from the brackets came out that they would have just slight work to get to the Final Four.
Yeah, way to go, Kyle Wiltshire.
Yeah, and Gonzaga, you had a chance.
Gonzaga did. They are who we thought they were.
I was bragging about Kyle Wiltshire's winning pedigree, of course.
No type winning pedigree.
Where he came from, but
he already has a ring. What does he care?
Yeah.
He blew the easiest layup in the world that completely shifted the tide of that game. And that is the first time in 4 years where I've pointed and I said, you know what? That's where his lack of athleticism really came back to bite him. It never did before. The whole time he was at Kentucky, I was fine with it. He did so well at Gonzaga this year.
You would have thought that was his third jump. That was his first jump.
You could not slip a sheet of paper underneath his feet when he jumped for that layup.
I remember when Kentucky recruited him and I watched him play and I was just like, he's the least Kentucky player he's the least Calipari player.
But it worked so well.
It
worked so well.
Not for him because he left. He wasn't playing much.
He got a ring.
Yeah.
He did get a ring.
Now, what did he get you?
Got me a championship.
Yeah.
Hey. Shout out 2012 team. What's up?
Him and Anthony Davis.
Shout out Kyle Wiltshire. What's up?
But who do you think takes the Duke Michigan State?
It's so difficult to measure. And I've heard people say it. I've been hearing people say it all my life. But you really cannot measure a Michigan State team in March.
What did they say it? January, February, Izzo, April?
Yeah, it's a completely different team. I mean, in the middle of the season,
everybody was down on
they
them.
were on the bubble.
Yeah, everybody was down on them all season. They had like a pretty average year by their standards.
There was a point where you thought this team wouldn't even make the tournament, and that was a legit threat for them to not make the tournament. Then late, I'll tell you what turned it around. Remember when I wrote the story about them starting Tum Tum 4 games in a row and they won those 4 games?
That was it.
That started it right there.
It's them intangibles.
Yep.
The intangibles. He's almost like a Duke point guard.
I would like Michigan State to beat Duke.
Of course you would.
Oh, I mean, first of all, they're Duke. So we always want Duke to lose. And then we got to blame on Michigan State. Like, come on.
That's it. Go Tum Tum go.
Go Tum Tum go.
Yeah. I mean...
It's honestly though, in all objectivity, it's hard to not see Jahlil Okafor destroying Brandon Dawson inside.
It's gonna be very tough.
It's gonna be
very tough for Michigan State because as good as they are, as gritty as they are, as well as they play together, and they do play defense on a string, is a very, very good defensive team. They just do not have the size to slow down Jahlil Okafor. Like, Jahlil Okafor did not have a good game against Gonzaga. Gonzaga neutralized him.
Gonzaga, I think, had bigger bodies than Michigan State.
They
Sabonis.
Have young Sabonis, and then they got the other kid that always passes it to young Sabonis. I call them like the knockoff versions of Zach Randolph and Marcus.
No, for real, yeah. And then
they play kind of like that.
Welch is like 6'11", and he's playing on the wing. Like,
exactly. So they were able to really slow him down. I don't know how Michigan State does that because the biggest player in their rotation is Matt Costello.
Hey, no one thought Michigan State was going to be in the Final Four.
Agreed. Which is why I said
now they're going to be in the finals.
Which is why I said it's despite all that, it is very difficult to analyze this team properly.
Brandon Dawson is, like I say, they have something else. They have some intangible, but Brandon Dawson is not big.
But he's also going to be a tough matchup for Okafor though, because he could step away from the basket. He can make him move.
Yeah. Like, I remember when they played North Carolina, I think it was, I don't know if it was regular season or in the tournament, and he just blew right through Kennedy Meeks. We've seen Kennedy Meeks in person. Yeah. Kennedy Meeks is not a small person. And Okafor just big boyed him. So, he might go to work.
I don't know. And then there's just something about Travis Trice. You cannot count that guy out. He will pull up from half court and make a 3. Denzel Valentine is the exact same way. Like, there were times when he would get the rebound, go coast to coast, and I'm going to dribble it 15 times, go in the lane, do the spin move, and score a runner. And it worked at least 3 or 4 times.
You know what Travis Trice reminded me of? He reminded me of Danny Green playing for the Spurs in the playoffs, just knocking down threes.
For some reason, I really thought he was going to say C.J. Hines. I don't know why.
Let's not go there.
I really thought you was going to say that. I have no idea why.
Can we not?
But, I mean, it should be
an entertaining game. It should be one.
Very good
Tom Tom's going to hit the game-winning 3-pointer. I'm calling it right now.
It would be so good if he
I just hope he locks up Tyus Jones.
There were times when they were sagging off him, and I was like, Tom Tom's going to take this, Jay. He took one, though, and he made it. He took one, and he made it.
You know what frustrated me? It was one when he shook his dude and got to the rim and then kicked it out. I was just like, you could have laid it up. You could get to the rim whenever you want.
Dunk?
I'm pretty sure
probably.
He can. I'm pretty sure he can.
We got to ask him that question.
He seems quick enough to be able to get to the rim.
It's like a gajillion 5'10" Bahamian dudes that are really fast that can dunk the basketball. So I'm pretty sure he can dunk it.
Nal isn't one of them.
I've never been able to dunk. I think one of the pictures I took in warm-ups, it looked like he was up there, like he was about to dunk it.
But he did a fancy layup. But now it's time for the main event.
Yeah. Kentucky in 2.
Now, go.
What the hell are you waiting for? Okay. This is it. I feel like the entire NCAA basketball season has been waiting and has come down to this moment. From the minute Aaron Harrison hit that shot last year, I thought we were going to see this team again. I said this at least 100 times. You guys probably got tired of hearing me say it at the Battle for Atlantis. I'm afraid of this team.
You should.
We are going to have to go through them.
It's funny because talking about that, every time Wisconsin played, now would just sit on the front bench of the thing, just watching him like a real scout. He's next to the NBA scouts, and he's writing down notes too.
I really was. We had no business even trying to cover that game. We weren't even supposed to be there. Like, I think all of y'all were back in the media room eating those incredible snacks provided by the Battle for Atlantis. But
shout out Battle for Atlantis.
I was there at midcourt, sitting next to a scout from
shooing
the
scouts away from it.
I'd be like, hey, that's my seat. I was sitting next to a scout from the Spurs.
In his defense, those scouts are rude. They will just take anybody's seat.
He's like, is your name Ronaldo Dorset? No, that's my seat.
That's mine. because I had to see for myself, and it was kind of nerve-wracking. So the whole time I was kind of watching our season and keeping up with what was going on with us. Every night I would check the box score and see what was going on with Wisconsin, because it was like we were playing each other from afar all year.
It's like a Cold War.
And now it comes to a head.
Yo, and the thing is, Wisconsin, they look so much more dangerous now than they did.
I don't know.
In the Battle for Atlantis.
I thought they looked better in Battle. That's just me.
Nah, I mean, like
I think they're more dangerous now.
I think they're hitting
just for one reason.
Chemistry.
Sam Decker is up his game tremendously.
That's what I'm saying. Like Sam Decker, like he was drifting through the Battle of Atlantis. He was drifting through the season.
A lot of the season, he was. This isn't the same Sam Decker we've been seeing all year.
And also, remember Bronson Koenig was off the bench, dropping 16 at the Battle of Atlantis, and he throughout the season he was floating in and out of games. But since Trayvon Jackson got hurt and he was starting,
and this is why
he's this person every night.
People have asked me what is different about this year, and I mean. Maybe it's just me talking myself into this, but I kind of feel more confident than I did last year. Number one, we really didn't have an answer for Trayvon Jackson last year. He was getting whatever kind of shot he wanted. And even after Aaron Harrison's shot, he had a very good look that could have won that game, but he just happened to miss it. Number two, they don't have Ben Brust anymore, and he went for 17 on us last year. I can't remember the exact number, but there was a point where we were down in that Final Four game. It was he went for 15 last year. He was 3 for 7 from 3. But there was a point where we were down 8 to 17 very early on, and he hit 2 3-pointers in the first 5 minutes of the game. And I was like, who's gonna guard this guy?
But even Nigel, I don't think Nigel Hayes hit a 3 in the Battle for Atlantis, and the last game against Arizona, he just went off. Decker went off.
There's so much more riding on this game now than last year, because last year you're playing with house money.
Kaminsky.
Yeah.
You know why I'm hopeful though, because Josh Smith, I seen Kaminsky get bodied up by bigger men, and I think Kentucky they have the bodies to throw at him that could probably occupy him and beat him up a little bit.
What I like is that Willie Cauley-Stein got owned in the Elite Eight.
Yeah,
because Pat Connaughton was a terrible matchup for him.
Yeah,
but I think he's one of the few people in college basketball that can actually do the job on Frank Kaminsky.
Oh, for sure.
Because he could play him on the perimeter. If he puts the ball down, he's quick enough to stay with him. I mean, he stays with point guard, so he could definitely stay with
I was about to say, I was just talking to John earlier, but only a couple dudes and big men in the NBA could move their feet on the perimeter.
Two-time champion.
Yeah.
On the last
Joel
play,
Anthony.
Joel Anthony, yeah, we're talking about Joel Anthony. He's switching pick and rolls, and he's the only other person who does it as good as Willie Cauley-Stein.
We compare Willie Cauley-Stein to Joel Anthony.
And
are you guys not trying to get Willie Cauley-Stein drafted? I mean,
that's just one thing.
But also, he didn't play last year in the Final Four. Let's not.
Yeah, he did. And also, if you notice the last play of that Notre Dame game, he guarded Jerry Grant all the way up the court and contested the shot.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I think he's perfect to cover Kaminsky as long as he doesn't get sucked down on double teams.
Let's
or
put
whatnot.
it this way: this tournament run, because I pick Kentucky. When they win, there's no one that could say they did not deserve to win this title.
Yeah,
one game at a time. I'm not even talking titles. One game at a time.
And I think Nigel Hayes too. Nigel Hayes was probably an X factor in that game too because he was hitting threes and get to the rim. I think Cauley-Stein could guard Nigel Hayes. And then
it's gonna be interesting to see how Cal opens up defensively. And I mean, talk about Kentucky being able to guard Wisconsin. I don't think they have anybody that matches up with Trey Lyles. Trey Lyles is a matchup problem for everybody.
He's quick.
Because he's a 6'10" guy that shoots it on the perimeter, and he has a post game. I mean, are they going to put Decker on him? But if you put Decker on him, then who?
Kentucky has this size
on Towns,
that's quick. All the big men are quick. They can all cover the perimeter.
That's what I mean.
It's very impressive.
I figured they leave. Yeah, that's why I say I figured they leave Kaminsky to Towns and Dakari Johnson inside, and then put Cauley-Stein and Nigel Hayes, and then leave Decker, leave Trey Lyles on Decker, and that's bottled up. I really believe.
Matchup, I hate it.
Huh?
It's such an even matchup. I hate it so much.
Yeah, I like the only matchup I would take out of that is Decker on Lyles for Wisconsin. I feel like everything else is I really feel like Towns could beat up Kaminsky a little bit, and they could just throw bodies at him between him and Dakari Johnson.
So here's the big advantage that we have on them that we are gonna have on everybody else. They only have. Well, it depends on if Jackson plays or not. I saw he suited up last game. He did get some minutes last game.
Yeah, he got some run.
But they're not a deep team.
Nah, they go 8 deep.
If that. And that 8th guy does not play a lot.
Ooh,
So I mean,
I don't even know. Yeah,
I don't know who it is.
It's the starters, and then it's Jackson, Dukin, and Showalter.
Hi,
And
Dukin.
Showalter gets a little burn. That's it.
Yeah, but they don't go deeper than that. I mean, even looking at the box score from last year's Final Four, they played 7 guys.
Yeah, and Showalter's the 8th guy. I think Dukin. I think the most he played was in the Battle of Atlantis. Like he gets spot duty now.
So, who you got in the first games of the Final Four? I got Tum Tum
I got Duke.
and Kentucky. It looks like Niall's trying to plead the 5th, but this ain't America.
Man, I just
I'm gonna go for Michigan State. I think Michigan State gets to the title game on Monday.
I think Duke.
Fair enough.
Oh, in all objectivity, I want Tum Tum.
If
I want Tum Tum to
basketball
win
pure
so bad. Like I want Tum Tum to beat them so bad.
Hey, I get it. I totally get it.
But come on, I mean Jalil Okafor, man.
It's gonna be a lot for Michigan State to overcome, and then of course I have UK making it to the finals, and if that happens, I'll probably end up being the most villainized person in this country, riding around with my UK sticker on the back of my SUV and wearing my UK paraphernalia all the time. But
you've always done that.
They don't know that.
They're gonna be like, you're a bandwagon.
You're gonna be that guy? They're gonna be like, you're gonna be that guy?
I completely own being that guy. I don't care if people know I went to Kentucky or if they know I was always a Kentucky fan. I will be that guy.
And then 10th year seniors take all credit for Kentucky winning because, we covered them first.
And we'll be that guys.
We were like the very first on the bandwagon, weren't we? Since August.
We saw this team first.
We did. They're our team.
That other media from Lexington? No, we saw them first.
We were there first.
Yeah, we saw the team first.
Calipari was sitting behind us when Michael Jock Martinez made the choke sign at him.
It's our team.
Yep.
Yeah.
Signed autograph for my kid first.
Yeah, Kaizen got pictures.
But yeah, that's how we see the Final Four shaking out. I mean, like I said, from a Homer perspective, we all want Tum Tum to get to the big game because it's just an incredible story. So we're all going to kind of be rooting for that. And on the other side, we're all going to root for Kentucky, except for Tage because he's a douche.
I am a bag of douche.
Wow.
Anyway, that's it for Bracketcast 3. By the time we talk to you guys again, we will have a new national champion in college basketball, and I will either be on this podcast gloating and having a rant like Dan
We're not on it at all.
Like Dan Lebertard, or I will not be on it at all.
I want Kentucky to win just for that. I just want to hear your rant. Like, I want this to happen.
Are you like writing stuff out?
No, I'm going to freestyle it.
Yes.
I don't know if you can freestyle. It's pretty tough.
Nah, I can freestyle it.
Give it to me again.
One game at a time, guys. 2 games left. This is 10th year seniors. This is Bracketcast 3.
Bracketcast.
2 games left, and we are out.
Big Blue and 2.
Some sure, some love. 10th year seniors.
Give it to me again. Give it to me.